Welcome back, everybody, to Extra Trashy. We've been out for a little bit, but there's a ton going on in the world of fighting games. I'm joined by apparently the main host of the podcast, iDom. You doing good over there? How you doing, man?
What's up? I'm doing pretty good. Fine day today. Lots of news to talk about.
Way too much, and not all happy news, unfortunately, because we have the announcement that the reigning Capcom Cup champion, Kakeru, my GOAT, has officially announced an early retirement. And I just want to approach this with a little bit of sensitivity, of course. Kakeru put out a statement officially a couple days ago regarding his decision to step away from competitive Street Fighter, including Street Fighter League, where he was partaking on the Zeta Division team, and from the Capcom Pro Tour. And he cited neurological dysfunction as one of the main reasons. Now, there might be some translation going on there. It might be an actual neurological disorder, or it could be a different condition entirely. He didn't go into too much detail about his actual medical condition. As far as I'm concerned, I don't think that's worth speculating. I think your health is your personal business, and you can share as much as you want. But in general, I think it's just a sad day for the community because he was such a beloved figure in the scene. And I know maybe people didn't like JP at first, but I feel like Kakeru, through sheer aura and skill and just being a positive figure, always smiling, and there's a lot of great stories shared about how he encouraged people to participate in the community. I think he won people over in the end, despite being the JP, one of the most hated characters in this game. And yeah, it's just sad to see that unfortunately he can't pursue his passion for the time being of being the strongest player. But I just want to make sure that he knows that we're all encouraging him to do what's best for his own health and his own family and well-being. But yeah, I don't know, Adam, do you have any favorite Kakeru moments? I feel like just remembering what he's done for the game is what we could do best to honor him. Okay, so regular listeners of the show might be tired of me bringing it up by now, but I just wanted to say thank you. Thanks to your support, we are so close to reaching partner status on Spotify. And if you didn't know, Trash Talk and Extra Trashy are available in full video and audio on that platform. With the final goal of 10,000 consumption hours being just within reach, we are so close to making that partner push. So if it's convenient for you and you're interested, please consider checking us out on Spotify directly. And for those who want to support further, you can check us out at the Brian F. Patreon page. There we have things like early access to mainland Trash Talk episodes, exclusive content only on that platform, and more connection with the Extra Trashy community. Okay, that's it. Back to the episode.
I still remember, Kakeru, like I said, one of the probably shining spots on like all the stuff going on in SF6, but I still remember one of the first times I played Kakeru was it was Red Bull Kumite in South Africa when I flew there late, and I was just asking people to play game. And I remember he was like so willing to, sit down and play me, because in Street Fighter V, before he was Kakeru, he was Uzura. Yeah. We played a lot at Kumite in Vegas. So, it was kind of like, hey, let's play again in the newer game. But in Street Fighter 6, he like 10-1 me, so he kind of just destroyed me.
So yeah, that Red Bull Kumite, he beat a lot of ass. I think a lot of people realize like, oh, a monster has been brewing here from that event.
Yeah, he beat me really badly, but like it was just like he was so clean and he was so good, even just so early on in SF6's life. So kind of sucks to see one of the, I would say easily top 2, top 3 Street Fighter 6 player of all time just kind of retire early.
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, I think he has to do what's best for him and his own well-being. So, I'm very supportive of his decision. But he had a really interesting career. It's funny that you played him at Red Bull Kumite as well, because that's where I played him in the Vegas one. I played in that as well, and so I actually got to play Uzura at the time in a long set. And he was one of the players that we knew the least about. And I don't remember the way he qualified for that event. I don't remember if he won some qualifier, if there was some shakeup in the roster. But he was one of the players that got into that event where I think very few of us knew much about him. He's playing Ryu at that time in 2021. Ryu in Street Fighter V. I think that's before the final series of buffs that he got, because he had a final little boost at the end in the final patch for Street Fighter V, which made him a bit better. Still not Ken, still not, no one was playing Ryu, but it was a bit better. So even before that time, Uzura's rocking Ryu, and he was good, man. He was so good. We played a long set. He beat me like 10-8 or 10-9, but I was like, dude, Balrog should be beating the crap out of Ryu. Like, the fact that he's making me sweat here and he won the set, I was like, dude, he's super good. And he beat NL, I remember, in the actual tournament, using a lot of V-shift. Well, I went back and watched the footage, and I was like, oh, okay. Because, he became the Perfect Parry Prince. So I watched that set. He was V-shifting everything NL was doing. And I'm like, I see where, like, the skills transferred here once he got to Street Fighter 6, because he was perfect parrying everything. That esports Gamers 8 at the time, when he won that against Angry Bird in the grand finals, he perfect parried. There was a counter made. He perfect parried 32 times in that grand finals. There was 32 recorded perfect parries of every Dragon Lash, every Jinrai, every Fireball, and he just shut down Angry Bird on that mechanic alone. So that was, I think, before people knew how good perfect parry was, Kakeru was like, this is the mechanic that can completely change how you play. Like, you cannot even use these offensive options because I'm so good at this mechanic. You got to completely revamp your strategy. So I think he changed the game early on. He changed my perspective of the game immediately from that event. I don't know if you remember that one.
He always was just so good at perfect parry. Even when, like I said, early on when I was playing Manon, even when I was just trying to do like walk up heavy kick or just any like button that had double digit startup, it was just like perfect parry easily. I don't know if he's like consciously doing it or it's just like reaction, but he's really good at perfect parry, and he kind of did change a lot of how the game was played.
I know he was getting you pissed off.
Nah, I mean, he's good. He's good, but like
that damn Kakeru perfect parrying all my buttons. I know iDom was mauling. Hell yes.
I beat him in 5.
Oh, okay, yeah. We all had our times, but yeah. So he did mention today, actually, at the time of this recording, that he will be doing some streaming as well. So he's not completely, for the time, taking a step away from public life in the fighting game community, which I really appreciate that. So whatever balance he can find that's best for him and his health and his well-being, that's definitely what I'm supportive of. But, I'm such a Kakeru fanboy, man. Like, I was so looking forward to seeing him try to defend the title or seeing him compete. Is watching him play, he's one of those players that really pushes your perspective of what's possible in the game. And I think that is something that is really rare in Street Fighter 6. So when those examples stick out, it's great to appreciate them. Like when you look at like a MenaRD, you look at an Angry Bird, you look at a Kakeru, right? Like at Lashar especially right now. You see things, Blaz as well. You see how the game can be approached in a fresh new way. And it shows you that there's still more to learn and grow. Like there's always more to discover, no matter how much people, complain about certain mechanics or drive rush or, deride the game and maybe say it sucks or something. I don't know who would do that. Who would do such a thing? Those players stand out to me to really push the envelope. And Kakeru has been doing that from the very beginning. So I just want to once again wish the best luck to Kakeru. Who's going to fill in the JP void, man? Who's going to be the next best JP right now?
Well, Juicy Joe's probably, next in line, but it does suck because, like I said, JP was so cool and he wasn't a super popular character. He was always like the technical character that you didn't really see because, everyone's playing Mai and Bison and Ryu, but you didn't really see as many JPs now. So to lose one of the, if not the best JP, it's also just kind of like a hit to the character diversity and variety.
Yeah. No, I think he's the JP, right? There's no question about that. Like, Inkross had a really interesting stat point that he compiled about Kakeru's career, and he's the highest earning player. I mean, he won Gamers 8 and Capcom Cup, right? So those are the two biggest prize pools we have in the scene. So that those two alone, that's just so much freaking money. But aside from that, he had top 8 or better in 14 out of 22 offline events, including 2 EVO Grand Finals. That's crazy. And then he had a tournament set win rate of 80%. So this dude was so consistent. And I remember compiling his Season 1 journey. It was so great to see him win in Season 2 for Capcom Cup, because in Season 1, he didn't even make it to Capcom Cup. He was having that MenaRD sort of path where he was doing really well in the offline tournaments, and all 3 CPT level premier events that he went to, he made top 8. So it was like EVO 2023. He won Gamers 8, which wasn't a CPT qualifier at the time. And then he got, I believe, 5th at CPT Singapore. And he missed out on CPT France, I think, because he was sick at the time. So of all 3 events, he made top 8 in all of them and won one of them. And he didn't make it into Capcom Cup because there was no point system at the time. If you're not first, you're last. And he won the one that wasn't a qualifier. And then in his World Warrior, he got to the regional finals, but he bowed out at 7th, I believe. He lost to maybe Kazunoko. I'm not sure, but he didn't make it through the regional finals. So he was so consistent, but didn't make it in. And then the LCQ, shout out to JB. JB double jeopardied him with Rashid at the LCQ. So that was a crazy stacked LCQ. I wasn't too surprised, but I was like, whoa, like JB really did it not once, but twice. Because that's who I was looking for to win the whole thing, was Kakeru, to be quite honest.
The first season to me is just like still so much of a blur to even, imagine that the CPT was like that in the first place, where it's like no point. But yeah, Kakeru has always been consistent. Like you said, 14 out of 22, especially in a game like Street Fighter 6 is very, to me, that kind of amplify the impressiveness of just that little stat. So yeah, it sucks. It really sucks to lose somebody that good at the game.
Right. Yeah, so he'll still be around, but we'll see what he contributes later.
The only other thing I could think, I remember Goichi during Dragon Ball was like 20. I think he won like 21 of the 22 events he went to for Dragon Ball. So that's the only other levels of consistency that I could really think of. But yeah, for Kakeru, it's kind of more impressive because Street Fighter 6 random, all that stuff. So yeah, it's crazy to see.
Yeah, no one really cracked the code in Street Fighter 6 like in other games. That doesn't exist. So I think for Street Fighter 6 to drive the point across, you have to do a little bit of like statistical analysis, because if you just glance, it's like, oh, MenaRD alone, right? Like he won a bunch. But then when you go underneath the hood, it's like, well, actually, the Kakeru is one of the most impressive players. And, they had that rivalry, MenaRD. It sucks we couldn't see the evolution of that. Maybe we will someday, I don't know, but Kakeru was a big part of why MenaRD did not win EVO 2023 and why he did not qualify until the World Warrior regional finals or the World Warrior point system that he went through. It's because Kakeru beat him the first 3 showings, right? He beat him at EVO, Gamers 8, and CPT Singapore. And so at EVO 2023, he ran through losers, MenaRD did, and reset the bracket, but he was only doing that because Kakeru put him to losers before top 8. And then after that, once EVO Japan hit, the script got flipped from that point forward. Yeah. And every big showing after that was EVO Japan Grand Finals. There was another showing, and then EVO Vegas Grand Finals. Or maybe it was just those 2. And it was 6 sets total, or 3 sets total, rather. And Kakeru hasn't won a game. He was 0-9 from EVO Japan. Yeah. EVO Japan Grand Finals, Winners Finals of EVO Vegas, and Grand Finals. 0 games in those 3 sets. 9-0. So they're 3-3 though in sets officially in Street Fighter 6. So I was kind of hoping, I knew it seems like a wash right now, but I was like, there's more in the tank. You know what I mean? Like the script could get flipped again. So there was like a rivalry there between those 2 players. One-sided for right now in the big showings, but who knows? Like Kakeru could have been the EVO Japan and EVO Vegas champion, right? But MenaRD took it from him. So a lot of storylines that are going to be left untold from this, but like I mentioned before, still around, still going to be streaming here and there, he said. So I'll be tuning in to see what he's up to, and maybe one day, if he's physically healthy enough, mentally healthy enough, whatever it may be, he'll return to competition. But if not, Kakeru, we salute you. Thank you so much for everything you've contributed to the scene. Definitely one of the best players and ambassadors that the scene has ever had. And we look forward to you having a fulfilling life, whichever way it may take you. So thank you so much, Kakeru. But we're gonna move on here for a little bit. Sea Viper, man, did you play Sea Viper? She came out finally.
I have been playing a lot of Viper, and I have to say this is probably the best DLC they made. I am loving Sea Viper. I've never really had it. No, one of the best characters. She is so much fun.
A positive review from iDom? I think this might be a first. What's going on here? Hold up.
the Mai came out, and I was kind of dunking on Mai a lot. Sagat came out, not my Sagat kind of, but Viper, A+ job from Capcom. I know a lot of people have been kind of down on her, saying, "Oh, I can't play her. The seismo feints are too hard, or the jump cancels are too hard." But I miss that kind of stuff in fighting games. To have it back in Street Fighter 6 was not kind of the turn I was expecting with Viper. But now that she's out and you could actually do all that stuff, and it's kind of rewarding like lab time and execution, they did a pretty good job, I have to say.
Yeah, I was really impressed with that myself. I think it's refreshing to have a character that really is playing their unique game. So I finally actually played her in matches for the first time yesterday, and I took her to Master Rank. And that was the hardest character for me to take to Master Rank, period. It was so difficult for me. And I think that's due in part because I didn't have any of my flowchart Street Fighter 6 isms to just like shut down autopilot play. Like every other character I've taken to Master Rank has been a 10 win streak, and then I'm in Master Rank. You know what I mean? See, Viper, legit, I'd get 3 wins, lose, 4 wins, lose. I was playing for like 2 hours straight to get to Master Rank, which was like, I have not done that since the release of the game. And she has no like invincible DP to blow up low forward drive rush or drive rush fake strings, right? She has no low forward drive rush of her own. There's a lot of things that are like so typical of a Street Fighter 6 character that aren't there. So I was like, wait, I can't just flowchart right now. Like I have to learn this character to be able to play the game. And it was challenging, but it was like really refreshing because just even piloting her, I felt like, ooh, when I landed a feint combo finally, or ooh, when I did a super jump cancel on a string and I did a cross up burn kick, I was like, whoa, like I kind of did something a little cool right there, didn't I? I had that dopamine hit of progression through piloting the character and not just playing the game the way it's intended to be played. There's a very different, distinct feeling there. Properly piloting a character versus being funneled into the way the game is supposed to be played and doing the right things and winning the right way. And I felt that distinction heavily with this character. So as soon as I picked her up, I was like, dude, this is sick. Like I've never played Viper before, and it was hard, but it makes me want to go back and practice and play more. So I think some people really relate to that. Do you think most people like that?
No, I actually think Viper is on the lower pick rate of the DLCs. Actually, funny enough, I think whether this is because Mai is good or Mai is waifu character. I think Mai is the most bought DLC character in Street Fighter 6. I think somebody had a stat for that. But at the same time, for Viper, I can't imagine it's like that just because she's hard. She's not really, I don't know if she's going to be top tier or not. I think she's pretty good, actually. But she's complicated. I don't know if people are going to want to invest that kind of time into playing Viper when you could play like Bison or Ryu or something. So I think the people who like this kind of stuff will be excited to play Viper. But even then, I remember playing rank for like 2 or 3 days. After like day 2 or 3, I kind of run into no more Vipers. I don't run into Viper ranked anymore when I'm still trying to play her. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like at 2000 MR right now with Viper, but when I'm playing, mostly Bison, Ryu, Ken, Akuma, those kind of characters.
Yeah, but that's pretty high. That's pretty high MR at this point. I will say when I did my rank up to master, I played the Viper mirror match still a decent amount, and this is like what, a week or 2 after she released. So there's a huge difference in terms of the player population and the perspective from like the lower ranks, the diamond area ranks, and then the higher MRs. Right, you're getting a fraction of the percentage of the player base. So I definitely have the perception that once you start breaking into the 1900s to 2000s and then tournament level play, obviously she's going to be a character specialist character. Like that's just the nature of the type of character, which is fine, and I think that's a good thing to have. I think that's really important to have a character where you can look at the tournament level representative and be like, that guy has mastered the intricacies of this character just at a glance. You don't have to wait for like good reads or like anything, a weird moment. Just look at them play around and whoa, this guy got it. Like we don't have those kind of characters. Like that doesn't really exist in the world of Street Fighter 6 to this degree. But I still think, or I'm curious, I'm wondering how popular at lower levels she will be to be picked or just downloaded at all. Obviously, Mai is going to be the most popular character of all time. Like, it's not.
Yeah.
Mai is Mai. She's going to sell just based on that alone, right? And then on top of that, she has the X factor of being top tier. So she's popular at both ends. But I think those are two different things. What is popular in competitive play at the top level or like mid-high level, and what's popular at just like casual or more like competent level, two totally different things. So I'm curious if C Viper will be successful at like the diamond and below level. So far, I think she is. I'm wondering if she's more or less popular than Elena, because I feel like Elena is kind of an oddball character pick, and she's a little strange to play, but she's way easier than Viper. Way easier. And she's not that popular.
I think Elena is just kind of like awkward. And also, I don't feel like Viper is still a fan favorite character. There's a lot of people like, oh man, I can't wait for Viper. Viper's so sick. Where's Viper? When Elena was announced, I didn't really feel like that was kind of a thing. Like, I don't feel like anyone was like, oh man, where's Elena? I'm so excited for Elena. So I just think Elena was kind of a awkward DLC pick. I don't want to say it was a bad pick. I never really liked that argument for fighting games. Oh, waste of a slot. But to me, Elena was just kind of a strange pick. Viper kind of made more sense, though.
Yeah, I wonder if Elena's popularity was oversold because obviously she has pull of the Third Strike crowd, but that's an older crowd, and that Third Strike, even though it's a cult classic at this point and it's still like a celebrated game, I would argue that the Street Fighter 4 era cast has more pull than a lot of the more less represented Third Strike characters. And C Viper made it through Street Fighter 4 to Marvel as well. So I do feel like I noticed more buzz around C Viper than Elena as well. I kind of felt that same impression. So to me, Elena is like the least popular DLC so far. And so if C Viper is above that, then I would say it's a success. And but besides the popularity, I just think the gameplay design is really good because she has so many of her unique mechanics intact, but it's also the first time Capcom finally played with the system mechanics in a really intriguing way, because they created a whole new way to engage with the drive system, right? Having these 1-bar extensions and the 1-bar super jump cancel, it shows that they're willing to play with the House of Cards a little bit, which they weren't before. So that makes me like excited about like other characters. Like, hey, maybe they'll get even more creative with this drive system. They created a whole new the red hit spark effect when she does a super jump cancel, or the extensions from the burn kick and the thunder dash. And I don't know if you got that impression as well. Like, do you think they'll get more creative in the future because of this?
I've always said this, and I've done like videos on this as well. The drive system's really cool, but they don't make it cool because they think they're scared of how the game can be kind of played out. I feel like if Akuma had like, I don't know, 8,000 life, but had 8 drive bars, like they could do some cool stuff like that, or just kind of mess around with stuff. I think like something so minor like that would be cool to kind of have. I like what they did with Viper Super Jump Cancel, kind of taking the drive bars too. But Viper was 1,000% a step in the right direction. But at the same time, I do hope that she can. I don't hope that she turns into the throw looping character as well at the highest level, because I do realize when I was playing her too, throw looping people is just still mad good. You could easily just throw loop somebody and win.
Yeah, she has one of the best throw loops. Yeah. She's +7 on the throw loop, and like I think you get an auto timed plus as hell stand medium, and then you get like or immediate medium burn kick. So like her throw loop is really good, and can you still shimmy on the dash if you dash up?
Yeah. You have to backdash. I mean, you could actually just neutral jump too.
Okay.
You don't get like easy shimmy.
Yeah, she doesn't walk throw loop. If you're like Omega plus, like Akuma, like walking throw loop, and you're super fucking plus, like that's the best one. But her being +7 on a dash is really good. Like other characters that are +4 on a dash, and they're gonna get punished if you backdash it. And I don't think she gets punished if you backdash her throw. Maybe
you don't.
You don't? Okay, yeah, that's really freaking good. Yeah, like you can maybe backdash and get your turn back, but you don't get a punish. So that's incredible. So, but it does show like a break from that system in a way. And I agree with the creativity. I think we talked about it a few times. I'm still waiting for them to bring back Abigail and then maybe do something like, I'm saying Abigail as an example, like a super heavy, and maybe they have an armored move, unlimited armor, but every hit they tank takes a bar drive gauge, like something silly. You know what I mean? Like, imagine that. And then like they're just like Abigail's run, unlimited armor, but every hit he takes is a bar drive gauge. They can get creative.
Yeah, there's so much you could actually do with this. I like, even with like Manon, say like, oh, she starts on 1 medal, but you know, every drive rush is like, I don't know, 4 bars or 5 bars, but as the medals go up, it's 1 less drive bar per cancel or something. Like, you can actually get super creative with a lot of the stuff in the game, but I just think they're kind of scared. And I think one thing about fighting games in general, especially from playing so many fighting games, people don't like losing because of information gap. And it's something in hero shooter, it's something in MOBAs and RTS games. Information gap and losing just sucks, and people hate that.
But that's what makes fighting games so special.
Exactly. That's what I think too. That also makes fighting games great.
Yeah, just like out teching the opponent. That's definitely kind of lost, and they smoothed that over with more modern Street Fighter entries in general. They've been flattening that discrepancy. And I agree that they could be more creative. I like that C Viper breaks a lot of those conventions, because even just her crouching medium kick, the fact that you can super jump special cancel it, and so it's essentially a special cancelable crouching medium kick, but you can't drive rush cancel it. To me, like that alone, it almost makes me want them to give that to so many more characters, because I would love a Ryu who could do crouching medium kick into a jump cancel fireball, but can't drive rush cancel it. You know what I mean? Like, because the drive rush cancel just completely centralizes so many interactions in the game. I wish it was more of like only a handful of characters had it, because why do anything else in those moments? Why do anything else? And I think that's something that gets missed in game design. It's degenerate game design, and I don't mean that in like a insulting sense. I mean literally, you have a whole sphere of options. You have your option space, but because all these other peripheral options are objectively worse than one option, what happens is the game degenerates around that one singular option. And I don't think Street Fighter 6 is a badly designed game by any means, but I do feel like drive rush cancel ends up shrinking the space of available options in certain interactions, because why not just do the drive rush cancel? Whereas you could just do low forward fireball, and what ends up happening is that it creates a much more dynamic push and pull of when you do the cancel, when you poke, when you press, and it creates a much more back and forth flow in the gameplay, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's to me how, all fighting games are supposed to work. You're supposed to have like a push and pull. I think Street Fighter V did it well with the whole V system. I know people say, haha, V trigger go burr, but I liked V reversal was really strong. V shift got added later on, so you'd be like, do I want my V trigger, or do I just spend V reversal to kind of use this? So it's kind of like a push and pull of what you're going to use your system on. But kind of what you're saying with the degenerate stuff, there was in Strive, when White Wild Assault first came out, it was like, I don't need burst, I'm just going to White Wild Assault all the time, and it becomes degenerate gameplay, because why would I need this? I'm just going to do this all the time. So I'm kind of with you. It kind of like makes one option in the system just really strong, and then it gets kind of boring.
Yeah, that's what I'm noticing as well. But that's why I like Viper, because she doesn't have that option, but still has a special cancel. If you do like the higher execution jump cancels, which are not too hard, it takes a little bit of practice to get used to the inputs, and it costs meter. So she has powerful options out of that poke, but it's so much more dynamic because of that. She can super jump cancel the burn kick. She could just move. She has movement options. She has feint options, special cancels, all of that out of one button, which sounds really good. But just because they removed the drive rush cancel, it forces them to explore all that. Because imagine if she could drive rush cancel that button.
Oh,
her gameplay would be worse. Like that's it's a thought experiment I want to present to people, because I feel like some people listen to this, but these boomers are hating on Street Fighter 6 again. I love Street Fighter 6, but I'm just saying, like, limitation is what often breeds creativity. That is a fact of life, and look at everything, and art and music and everything, and inventiveness, like literally mechanical engineering, whatever you want to do, and including in gameplay, limitations are where creativity is bred. And that limitation means that you're not going to have C-Viper players that just walk around fishing for crouching medium kick drivers cancel into overhead or a combo. Instead, they're going to have every other option, because if you had the drivers cancel and the existing options, you would still see far less of every other option and far more of drivers cancel. It would degenerate her gameplay. So sometimes less is more. Like, it really is. Because you add too much, eventually what happens is everything centralizes around the dominant option. So yeah, I just want to give props again to Capcom for that. I'm going to be playing a lot more C-Viper. I didn't know you're a 2000 MR with her. You're cooking?
Yeah, I've been playing her a lot. I'm telling you, this is probably the most I've played SF6 in a very long time. I've been enjoying Viper a lot. They did a really good job. I don't know if I'm going to switch off Manon. I told my stream, I was like, yo, I'm going to give Viper a solid like month before I make a decision. But
wow,
I've been playing her a lot. And like I said, I think she's really good. I do think there are some things, like, I don't like dropping my combo and losing, because, you know, I just made a simple mistake when, like, you know, with Manon, I could have did an easy combo and won there. But she has a lot of options, and she is fun.
That's the problem with having the way this game is right now with a character like C-Viper. If more characters had those requirements, then she would be more relatively viable. But the problem is, you can do all these high execution combo extensions and do less damage than Ryu doing a driver's cancel B&B, and they're not going to drop it.
That is my number one. I hate playing against Ryu with Viper, because I feel every Ryu player is slopping on their stick, mashing heavy punch, and I'm just like, I'm doing all this, and the Ryu player is literally hitting one button and doing more damage than me.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's part of the copium built into a high execution character. Like, that's part of it. Like, you're supposed to feel that way, because you could be like, man, I'm so much better than you, even though I lose. Like, so that's, you know, it's a little bit of a roll your eyes, and it's part of the fun, to be honest. So, like, even when you lose, you think, man, I'm better than you. So that's existed since the beginning of time. That's always been there. But I think the problem is exaggerated in this game. And I wish they would go more in that direction to add more of a differentiating factor for characters that require more technical skill to be more heavily rewarded versus those that don't. And this season overall has been pretty successful, I think, in kind of like getting in that direction. I think Elena, Sagat were pretty well designed. C-Viper is really well designed, except for some reason her throw loop is back. Like, the throw loops were great for Elena and Sagat, the way they balanced them with drive rush required, and then C-Viper's back to being like god tier throw loop. So there's a bit of regression there, but it's a good thing overall.
Maybe they were just thinking, since she's going to use so much drive with the jump cancel, she had to have a throw loop. That's all I could think of.
Yeah, but they could just nerf all the other throw loops, and then she wouldn't need to do that, right? They're making that concession because they don't want to just change the flow of the game. Whereas every other character is like just doing B&B to drivers cancels to 10 billion damage and a throw loop Oki after. You know, why don't you just, if they adjusted everything else, I don't know, maybe it's a sign of things to come.
But then Viper might be worse, because, like I said, if I'm jump canceling everything and my B&B leaves me on 2 drive bar, then I got to drive rush again so I can throw loop you. I only got 1 left at that point.
What I'm saying, if no one else had throw loop, she wouldn't be relatively worse. She just maintained corner control.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Right?
I get what you're saying.
And she can do a lot of, once again, degenerate options. Your corner offense is degenerate because you have a throw loop, is it not? Does it not degenerate into the throw loop situation?
Yeah.
Think of all the other fancy Viper shit you could be doing. You could be doing Seismo feints and, Seismo feint, burn kick, shenanigans. You know, there's so many things she can do, but you're like, wait a minute. Why don't I just throw loop this asshole? What am I doing here? Just dash up and throw again, right? Am I wrong? So that's... I hope they take a look at these things. They don't. Game is still good. Listen, I know you're typing your angry comments. Game is still good. Just saying, there's things that could be tweaked to keep things engaging for the long run. That's all. But yeah, if you switch to C-Viper, I think that'd be dope. I gotta watch your streams because you're not playing Manon. Manon's boring as shit, iDom.
I don't think Manon's boring as shit. I just think they actually made an interesting DLC character, which was, what was this? The 2 out of 10 of the DLC have been interesting in my opinion.
Wow. This is the first positive review of a DLC character I've heard from you since we started doing this podcast, iDom.
I said Ed was in. I gave Ed his props. I said Ed was pretty cool too. I don't want to say her first. That's the second. What you call it? I said Ed was pretty interesting too.
Okay. True. Facts. Okay. I'll try to copy your tech because I'm ass with this character right now. But because I'm so bad with her, I'm motivated to get good. That's usually like the characters that I gravitate towards are the ones I'm worst with at first. Because I don't know, I think that's just like the fighting game player brain. Like you can't accept being bad, so you have to work to get good. So I'm gonna be playing some more Viper myself to see if I can figure her out. But moving on to the next topic, we have a new update, sort of, in the Capcom Cup pay-per-view saga. So this latest statement is an update from the first update after the original post. So Capcom announced in late September that they will be charging pay-per-view for the Capcom Cup finals, both for the Capcom Cup itself top 16 and the Street Fighter League finals on the actual last day of the events. And it was going to be a bundled cost of 40 USD to watch both of those streams, which is nuts. But they did offer an update 2 weeks after that saying that we're going to review this and have more updates later. And have some updates on the pricing as well, is what they mentioned in that first update on October 10th, I believe. And then, so just now, today, they had an update, and they basically said nothing. They said a little bit of something, but it's a big nothing burger. Most of the community is reacting to this latest statement saying, okay, you wrote a 500-word essay here, and absolutely nothing changed. But essentially, they're reconfirming again that pay-per-view is here to stay, and they added a little bit of context for why they are pursuing these monetization strategies, but they still said that they will have an update down the road for the final pricing, and that they're still going live on November 12th with the actual sales of these tickets. And so they reiterated how they are looking for ways to commit to promoting our esports business in a sustainable manner over the medium to long term. Our goal is to grow these tournaments into internationally competitive events by reinvesting in participating players and teams, our partners, and related business areas. So they're acknowledging that this is a plan or a play by Capcom to make this a sustainable business. This ties into that whole revelation from Nakayama, the director of Street Fighter VI, saying that, hey, the esports division and the Street Fighter VI division are now completely separate, right? I tweeted at him at 1 a.m. my time, about to fall asleep, and he spilled all the beans saying we had no control over the pay-per-view. It's the esports division. And I think this is once again reaffirming that stance that it seems like the esports division from Capcom is under pressure to make this a profitable business separate from the success of Street Fighter VI as a platform. Any of the sales of the game, the sales of the DLC, that seems to not matter to the esports division for their bottom line, their metrics, how they are judged as part of the Capcom portfolio. It seems like they are looking to make money from the events themselves to recoup the cost of putting on the events, which seems backwards to me, because the point of the esports event, in my view, is mostly to promote sales of the game. And so this is kind of furthering, in my view, that division between the departments. So I don't know if you had any insight into this item or had any thoughts about it.
I think doing the pay-per-view is stupid, but at the same time, I do understand they are trying to make money. I think the whole thing with the whole money situation is they kind of need like sponsors to be a part of like the CPT event, which they obviously do. I think Suzuki is a sponsor for this year's CPT, and I think they have like bikes. I know Suzuki because they make cars, but I think it's primarily Japanese sponsorship versus like American sponsorship. I remember, I think the Capcom Cup I won, Pocky sponsored it, if I'm not mistaken. I remember the whole Pocky challenge thing, but I don't even know if we have Pocky in the. Do we have Pocky in the US? I actually not even sure.
It's sold here. Yeah, I mean they sell it, but it's usually at like I see it at
7-Elevens?
anime stores, some 7-Eleven sometimes. I remember our local land center had it, you know, because they also sell like Japanese stuff. So it's around, but you have to go out of your way or go to like a big supplier. It's not like everywhere.
But like I was saying, I feel like they need a more universal, like worldwide, like sponsorships if they really want to like make the money of the CPT. But because for me at least, when I watch like Overwatch or League, you know, they got like Mountain Dew sponsorships, and obviously the primary audience is American. You know, Americans love Mountain Dew and, you know, that, you know, big stuff to kind of help them, like, you know, eat and drink and whatever.
Do they?
Like,
do they? Mountain Dew is marketed so heavily to gamers, and I've never seen anyone drink Mountain Dew.
I love Mountain Dew, first of all. Wow. And second of all,
living stereotype here, iDom. Wow.
Well, I think Mountain Dew is like a top 5-ish soda in America, I want to say. So it's pretty good. People are buying it. It's around. So yeah, they need to get more sponsorships for more universal stuff. I know the primary Japanese company, so either they're gonna have to, like you always say, move everything to Japan and just say, oh, well, we could cut the cost if we stop trying to appeal to everyone around the world, or try to get something more universal for everyone else.
What I think here, I agree with what you're saying. However, I think the issue is Capcom Cup just does not get enough viewership. So I don't think they're going to be able to get any sponsorship deals out of that are going to be willing to pay enough to cover the cost of a tournament with hosting it in the Ryu-Goku Kokukikan Arena. I apologize if I did not get that correct. All respect to the historic legendary sumo arena in Japan. But that's going to cost a ton of money to host it there. And $1 million for the prize pool is stupid. It just doesn't make sense. It should be reduced. And the production and the internet and everything involved with it, they're not going to be able to get sponsorships that are going to pay that much with the level of viewership they're getting, which is like 300,000 combined. It's just not going to happen, right? So I understand them going the pay-per-view route if they're trying to finance the entire event via monetizing the event. They are not going to be able to afford it, I think, via ads and sponsorships. So that makes sense from that perspective. However, once again, I think the problem is that should not be the perspective. There should still be that unity with the game itself to make this a symbiotic relationship and not this weird division between the two, because we saw that back in Street Fighter V. And you even mentioned the Pocky challenge. Dude, for people who don't know what iDom is talking about, Kenny Omega, and I think Rob was doing that, right?
Yeah.
They came out, Rob TV and Kenny Omega came out in the middle of Capcom Cup to play a completely unique build of Street Fighter V. I'm glad you got me down this memory hole of doing this. Aside from them, they used to do actual DLC costumes. They used to do Street Fighter League specific costumes to promote the teams. Team UIU was literally in the game. They sold all the DLC CPT packs every year to generate prize pools and funding for the CPT. The Pocky Challenge, they created a brand new build of Street Fighter V, a custom modded build that the developers created for a break show sponsorship in the middle of Capcom Cup, where you had to kill with exactly the right amount of damage or something. I forgot exactly how the rules worked, but it was not a referee eyeballing it in the normal game. It was a game mode they created where you had to kill with the exact one touch to do the right amount of damage, or else it didn't count. Something like that. And that was...
It was called the Pocky KO. That's what you had to do. It was like perfect. But you needed like the right amount of damage. I think it was like if you overkilled, it didn't count. But if you underkilled, it didn't count. You had to land right there to get the Pocky KO.
Right. Yeah, because the Pocky has it's the stick with the icing on it. So you had to have the life bar left at the exact amount to match how a Pocky is set up. I don't know. It's some bizarre thing. It's hard to even explain the rules, right? But they made that. The developers spent salary time, development time, paying their employees to make this for a sponsorship for Capcom Cup at that time, which was less popular at the time than it is now. So I'm just saying it's another example of how much more integrated this was and how much more creative and active they were in terms of monetization besides pay-per-view. Now it's just this weird, lazy money grab strategy, which doesn't make sense, and it's not integrated with the product. It's so weird to me. Why are these separate divisions? Why is the esports division feeling pressure to make a profit on this industry without any integration within the product and the platform itself? All of these other esports is about the actual platform of the game. That's where you generate the money. That's where you're selling shit to customers. That's where the money is. You are not a media company. Like Capcom, the esports division is not a media event hosting company. That's not what they are. They're a game developer. Why are they making a whole department where their whole job is being a media company? It doesn't make sense to me.
It's funny too, because like they're trying to use these events as like the whole Capcom event, but at the same time we have so many amazing events around the world. Like we have the Combo Breakers, the CEOs, like all that stuff. You don't need to try to push Capcom Cup. I mean, obviously they want Capcom Cup to be bigger, but even if those events get bigger, Capcom Cup's going to get bigger as a result anyway. If those events grow, like we all grow. So I feel like kind of putting more eggs into those baskets will help the community more than just trying to, build up Capcom Cup anyway. And even if Capcom Cup is growing, those events grow too.
Yeah, we saw that pivot as well. I mean, post-COVID, maybe they thought they had to step up in that sense because there was far less events that existed anymore. And so if they wanted to ensure that the Pro Tour can continue, you might have to create a CPT event out of thin air, which is why we saw the CPT Singapore, CPT France, whatever. Those weren't tied to any existing events. Those were completely produced by Capcom, which was unusual at the time. However, like we saw with CPT Singapore, what is the event they hosted? Tiger Uppercut? No, that's Thailand.
Yeah.
Was that?
No.
There's another one near Singapore. I'm forgetting the name of.
Southeast Asia Major?
I think so. SEAM. I believe so.
Yeah,
those
SEAM.
were like a week apart, right? So Capcom is literally like cannibalizing the audience from the existing community event to host their own instead of partnering with those other existing events. They're trying to take over the ecosystem, and we've seen that with other publishers doing that as well, but they're doing it in a way that makes no sense because they're like, oh, we're going to make a profit on this. If you're not trying to drive sales of the game, where are you going to make money?
Yeah, I feel like it's weird because like other games do this, but they're kind of like one of their own. Like if like an Overwatch does this, they're the only hero shooter, so it's fine. The problem is with Capcom is I think they want to be the fighting game, but there's so many fighting games. And second of all, our community is not even big enough for you to kind of get a monopoly of having one fighting game because there's not enough people playing one fighting game by themselves to kind of make the community big enough. Like, I think even if you take every single fighting game and put them all in one sphere, we're still not as big as like a League of Legends community.
Oh, no, not at all.
Yeah.
So I can see that why they would want to do their own Street Fighter events. Like they get all the screen time. There's no sharing it with other communities. So I see an incentive there. But once again, I'm just reiterating, none of the moves they do make sense if they don't judge the success of that by the success of the game itself. If the department hosting the events and running the esports division does not get graded by how many sales are happening of the game in DLC, or at least factored into that, if they're completely separate, then you're not analyzing it correctly, in my view. You're not critiquing their performance correctly. The esports division should not be trying to make money on the broadcast alone. That should be a small portion of the revenue stream for that division. But you can see where these incentives are misaligned, where now they're starting to go down this path of pay-per-view and other things, trying to squeeze the audience, the limited audience, for money, because they're not viewing it as a marketing cost for their actual gaming platform, which should be driving the sales through constant microtransactions of little costumes for Good 8 Squad. Why is Good 8 Squad not a costume in the game? Why can I not put on my favorite, even for the Japanese teams, why can I buy a costume for my favorite Street Fighter League team? They did that in Street Fighter V. So this is what I'm saying. None of it makes sense to me. And I think this statement, this big nothing burger statement, is once again reiterating that the esports division is completely siloed from the development team. And I think they're still debating doing a discount. I think we'll see an update on the pricing. But for sure, they're locked into pay-per-view for this year. 100%. That was probably long ago decided, some contract with the pay-per-view platform. They probably can't even get out of that. So no matter what, that's happening. But it doesn't show the ship being steered in the right direction. It seems like they're revealing, hey, we got to make money. That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
So
you reminded me with the whole costume situation. Yeah, then why is there no good 8 costumes? I feel like if they had a Rashid, Ed, Dulcim, and Akuma costume, it would have been perfect. They did that last year with UIU. They had Seth, what was it? Seth, Akuma, and I think
Rashid.
It might have been Rashid.
Yeah,
it might have been Rashid.
Oil King at the time was UIU. Yeah. So they did that in Street Fighter V. But I mean, that's what Nakayama clarified, right? They are completely separate, and the esports division never approached the development team to make that happen. And they said back in Street Fighter V, it was the development team and the esports team were one and the same pretty much, and that's why those collaborations occurred. And so now they've been siloed in Street Fighter VI, and so that never occurs now. So that's this statement is just furthering that reality that they're not collaborating, which I think is a huge missed opportunity. And I think that it's at a corporate level is structured incorrectly, and the incentives do not make sense. It just doesn't really make sense.
So strange.
Yeah. So we'll see if this keeps up. This to me makes me fear the continuation of Capcom Cup in the esports division, because if they go, oh, you're not making any money, we're going to cut this. Maybe it was making money, driving sales with Street Fighter 6. You don't know because you're not comparing it or analyzing it correctly. So I don't know if this will blow up in the end. It's a weird time. It makes me not confident in the future of Street Fighter esports.
They could honestly save this if they literally just put Capcom Cup in the Battle Hub. Yeah, that would honestly save all of it.
Put Street Fighter 6 on sale, air it in the Battle Hub. Everyone who bought the game gets to watch it for free, and then you're incentivized to buy the game. If
you don't have the game, I guess that kind of sucks, but buy it, and then you get a cool game, and you get to watch Capcom Cup.
Yeah, make the game less than the pay-per-view.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine if like the game was like $20. Maybe don't give them any DLC. Make them have to buy the DLC. This is a business major iDom coming in. But yeah, sell the game for $20. Don't give them any DLC. You get to watch Capcom Cup. Oh man, who's this? My character on the screen. Got to pay $7, buddy. $7. And then you got to sell it to them. Yeah,
we're obviously talking out our ass for our business recommendations, but it feels like something could be done more. But that's our update. If you want to watch Capcom Cup, you're going to pay, or else you're going to wait a week and have all the results spoiled and not care anymore. So we'll see if they make the price at least affordable regionally. That would be my big hope, is that they have regional pricing. But we'll have to find out closer to November 12th to get further updates on that. But another big update, hey, iDom, you're going to be a coach.
Hey, yes, I am.
New challengers tournament. So we have Sage M Slam at home. So we're doing with the official Street Fighter team here. They have announced the new challengers tournament, which is going to be a creator tournament, and it's going to be led by 4 coaches for 4 teams: Nephew, iDom, myself, and Saint Cola in there. So with that context, you might have figured out the coaches don't play in this one. It's just going to be us coaching the teams, and we're going to be seeing who can coach up their squad to be the strongest, and it's going to be a good time. iDom, I'm kind of interested to hear you coaching. Are you going to be positive? Are you going to be helping your team out?
I'm an amazing coach. I'm really good at teaching people how to play fighting games. I feel like, tutoring, when I was younger, I used to tutor in my school, was it middle school? So I used to tutor people all the time.
What subjects?
I used to tutor people in math.
You know how to do math? What? You can do math?
Yeah, I can do, decent math. Maybe not like, trigonometry like 3 or calculus. I can't do that. But in middle school, I used to tutor math all the time. So, it's funny. It's funny because I did coaching even, on the side a bit for Street Fighter V whenever people would like ask me for help. So I'm sure I could translate this stuff to Street Fighter 6. I'm sure, tutoring and well, I don't want to say tutoring, coaching in this game wouldn't be as hard, but I'm really excited, and I like all the people in the new challenger tournament, so I'm very excited to see who I get to tutor.
One of the big issues that I see, or criticism I see with the Sage M Slam, is I always say like some of the coaches they They don't remember what it's like to struggle. You know, they don't remember. They make it. Oh, just do the low forward drive rush into the combo, and then special cancel it, and then go for the Oki. You know, like it's so easy. You don't think you've lost touch with the beginner struggle at all?
Not for fighting games, because even actually, not for video games. I think playing multiple types of video games make me not forget the beginner struggle. Because like when I was first getting into Valorant, I was really bad at it. So I think that kind of stuff kind of helps me. It helps me remember what it's like to be bad at a game. So for fighting games, obviously, when I pick up a fighting game, it's pretty easy to kind of just, get into it. But for playing like games like Valorant, or when I played Deadlock, I was really bad at it in the beginning. So I think that kind of stuff helps.
Yeah, helps remind you what it's like to be a noob. And then have that relation. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting though to see the different styles. Saint Cola as well. I'm wondering what he's cooking up. I've already seen nephew coach, and I've done my thing, so I know what to expect there.
Anyone on Saint Cola's team, you're probably better than him. I don't think I've ever seen Saint Cola play him. I gotta throw that out there. I don't think I've ever seen Saint Cola play.
I've seen him played.
I've never seen him play Street Fighter 6. I've seen him play 5. I've never seen him play 6.
I've seen him play 6. Not much, but I've seen him play it. Okay, he does play the game. He's a competent player, but it will be interesting to see how he handles that. It's very different than commentary.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. But it's cool to see a commentary go on coaching. That's cool. I've never seen that as agent step, so that's a first.
Yeah, he can't just see the beginner and start commentating their gameplay like, oh, they have absolutely no idea what's going on. Smoked by another DI. Oh my god, they're hitting the eye. He's gonna start dropping his Doritos Fritos. So Fritos rhymes, the MF Doom rhymes on him. No, he has to actually help them. It's gonna be interesting to see how that actually shakes up. So that should be fun. I think they're still working on the announcements of the teams and the players, so we'll see how that all comes together. But it may the best coach win, iDom. May the best coach win. We'll see who reigns supreme in that realm.
You're gonna be very surprised at how good of a coach I am. I was hiding my talents from the Sage Jam Slam, but now I'm ready.
Is that what it was? You're hiding?
Yes.
Hiding my talents. You thought you'd be too good for all of us in the Slam? I see, iDom. I see. We'll see how this shakes up. Should be fun.
I think the real thing is, I think Viper kind of turned my perspective around. I think me playing Viper has gotten me kind of more engaged to do coaching. I actually think that's what it was.
Interesting. You're have a fresh perspective on the game. I thought it would be all game sucks the whole time. Like the whole team would just be game sucks chanting game sucks, game sucks.
By the end of the coaching session.
Yeah, I don't know. You maybe that'll power you guys up to win. It'll just be the whole team chanting game sucks with low forward drive rush all over the place. I don't know. Maybe it'll work out. But yeah, that should be fun. That's coming up November 7th, I believe, is the first day, or maybe that's the finals day. The schedule it's coming up quick. It's going to be happening fast, so be on the lookout for that. But speaking of happening fast, next weekend it's going to be the final CPT event for the season, the final offline event where the last points and the last auto qualifying spot are going to be going out. And it's time to go to China, buddy. It's Fight Club Championship 6 in Chengdu. So some people are actually already in Chengdu now. I saw some photos. Chengdu looks dope, dude. I've never seen this city before. I saw some photos of people traveling out there. Looks like a really, really big, nice city. So this is the big event because this is the final stop for points. And there's a lot that can change in terms of qualification into Capcom Cup. Obviously, if you've been following, the top 6 of the point leaderboard will qualify via Capcom Cup, and there's a lot that can happen. So of the top 16, I would say the only people who are mostly safe on that leaderboard are players like Momoshi. I think he's locked in, and Momoshi is not even attending. He's saying, hey man, I'm good to go. So he's not even going to the tournament. And then maybe Kobayan. But there's still like a worst case scenario for all of the players in the top 6, where a nightmare scenario for all of them where they could end up not qualifying. Say they get no points and then the top 8 is just filled with everybody right below them in the leaderboard. So a lot of players are going to defend their spot, and a lot of players are going to go to shoot up into that qualifying position. So looking at this, like players like Dual Kevin, he's in third place at 460 points. He's trying to solidify his spot in that top 6. There's still a world where he doesn't get in.
Yeah,
not likely, but there's a world.
It's rough, and Kevin is one of the few people I think who haven't gone to every event. So I think like this is kind of him trying to get that extra event over some people. Like I think Momochi went to every event except for this one. I believe Nephew went to every event. Nephew's been to every event. So Kevin trying to keep up with everyone who's been to every event. Unfortunately, because I think he's not sponsored or not being able to go to every event. So shout outs to Kevin. I hope Kevin qualifies via points because like he's one of my favorite players to actually watch.
Yeah, I think it would be good for the USA morale to have someone get in not via
one person
World Warrior. The other player looking to do that is actually Punk. He's in 8th place right now, tied with Kings Vega with 350 points. And at the cutoff line of the top 6 right now is Ending Walker with 440. So he's 90 points away from being in that top 6. And of course, all these players are going to keep inflating their points. They're going to this tournament. So Punk, he's in a hotly contested World Warrior region too. He's not guaranteed in Capcom Cup whatsoever. Right? Like this is actually like a really big, important tournament for him. He's going to have to place like a top 4 or a top 3 potentially to secure enough points to get into that top 6. So this is a big moment for him. He's kind of had a few poor CPT performances recently, and he's been playing a lot of C Viper. I wonder what he's going to bring to the tournament. Like, do you think he'll play C Viper?
I've been watching his Viper. His Viper is really good. I don't know, new character in a like high stakes tournament like this, especially for him, is kind of iffy. But I'm sure he can do it. So I hope he plays Viper. I do like watching his Viper. I always tune into his streams. I've been watching him play a lot of the Japanese with his Viper. And he's been cooking all of them, to be honest.
Yeah, he's number 1 in the world right now in MR, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he did a set with Kawano, like 3-0'd or 5-0'd him.
No, he 5-0'd Kawano. I was like, damn, this character is mad good.
Well, it's also just like it's crazy how talented and quickly Punk picks up things, right? It's just absurd. I think he has been struggling as of late relative to his talent to maintain that consistency at the top level. But it's still always just jaw-dropping to see how quick he picks things up. Like, if anything is new and a new character, new whatever, he is the first to just dominate with them, just on pure talent and fundamentals. So I wonder what he's going to do, because he last tournament, he's playing mostly Ed, right? And he got a UFA in a 9th place, losing to Blas in the end.
That was Evil France, not UFA.
Oh, excuse me. Too many events in France, man. Geez. Yeah, that was Evil France. So 9th place to Blas, which is pretty good.
Yeah,
that's not a bad placement, and it was a 1-2 versus Blas. But he's been playing all Viper now. You know what I mean? He's character hopping. I just wonder what he's going to walk in with.
You're not a fan of switching too much characters. Stay on one character and kind of dedicate your time to one character. You think that would be a better strategy?
It just makes me uneasy. I think some players obviously are very good at alternating between characters based on the matchup, but Punk, he typically doesn't do that in the high stakes tournaments, right? He plays every character casually or semi-competitively, but when it comes to the CPT events, he tends to stick to 1 or 2 characters max. So right now, he's actually shown that he's character hopping a little bit, and this is do or die, right? Because if it goes to World Warrior, is he even ready for that?
I think he's number 1 in ours. All right, he's number 1 or number 2.
Yeah, he's number 1 right now, but he's not winning every event. Like, I think in the final one, he got double Mide. Yeah, he lost to Space Boy and Knuckle Dew. So come regional finals, right? Like, he can get double Mide again. There's no guarantee. What I'm saying is going to regional finals is such a dangerous position to be in. They're not a super region. He's not going to qualify in automatically via points. So if he doesn't do well this tournament or win at Chengdu, and if he doesn't win the regional finals, there's going to be no Punk and Capcom Cup again, which is always a shock to see.
I mean, there's a lot of scenarios because like if Ending Walker doesn't qualify there, he wouldn't be in Capcom Cup, and Ending Walker's had an amazing season too. So it's a lot of moving pieces. I feel like
Yeah.
with just how this stuff kind of works.
Yeah, Andy Walker also had a really great season last year. A similar thing where he prioritized going to offline events and ended up just falling short of qualifying via points, I believe, and also didn't make it in the World Warrior Regional Finals because Broski won that, right? So, and Lex ended up taking the Super Region spot by just staying home. I remember seeing Andy Walker in Japan when his World Warrior was going on, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? He was at this Japan Super Premiere when I happened to be there on vacation at that time, and I was like, "Why are you here?" Like he's like forfeiting his World Warrior auto qualifier spot, and it didn't work out for him, despite how consistent he was, or how like not winning, but always consistently showing up in the high positions. Same thing this season. He's in that 6th place position. If he doesn't lock in, he might get knocked out, right? So really scary and precarious position. Other players looking to make a run. Mr. Crimson. After that performance at Evo France, he's in 250 points. If he gets another top 3 finish, could sneak in.
He shot up because of Evo France. I think he was at like 20, maybe 90 points before that. I don't remember where he was, but he shot up because of Evo France. It's funny because the way the CPT is kind of work, I feel like you need like 2 or 3 4th and higher, and then you're kind of all right, because that's what Kobayan did. I think he got 3rd twice at both the Evo, and then that was kind of his 2 good placings. I think the other ones are kind of just like in the middle. You need 2 really good places.
Yeah, you need a lot of solid placements, like 7th place or higher, or like 2 second places or 3rd places, and then you're good.
Yeah,
because like I think the point spread is actually done really well, in my opinion. I think it's shaped up to be a really good point spread, because you have both like the big hitters being rewarded for doing well, but also the ending walkers who have been consistent but not placing top 3 in that running as well. So I think overall, I'm actually a big fan of how the point spread worked out. There's never a perfect point spread for this type of competitive environment, but I think overall this season has operated very successfully. Everyone who's in contention for qualifying makes sense, right? There's no like oddballs sticking out there. So we'll have to see how this shakes up. Any like crazy predictions in the end, iDom, of who's going to make it in and who's not?
I think the last time for the last Extra Trashy, we predicted, what was it? You said Lashar was going to win, and I said Blas was going to win. That was grand final, actually. So, who would I take for this tournament? I'm gonna do a spicy take. Kobayan. Okay. Kobayan got it.
Kobayan
got it this tournament. Yeah,
he's been on a hot streak. For me, my I'm looking for Ending Walker. We talked about him so much. I'm looking for him to get a big win, either a win or at least like a really high placing finish, because I think there's going to be a lot of nerves going on at this tournament. It's do or die, and I like Ending Walker in the clutch. I think he kind of has he has ice in his veins a little bit. I don't know if that's exactly what you would describe it, but he seems to just perform well under pressure. I don't know what it is. So I'm going for Ending Walker to have a really, either a win or a really deep run at this event. But either way, looking forward to seeing how the points shake up. It's going to be really dramatic. I think this is the tournament to watch, because people's hopes and dreams are going to be made or crushed at this tournament. There's going to be a lot of emotions one way or the other. So it's all culminating to this, and I think that's the exciting thing about having an actual point season. Every tournament matters, and then at the very end, the stakes are high. Every single match is going to be super critical to determining who's making it into Capcom Cup and who's not. So I highly recommend, if you can, to watch this event and see the drama unfold in real time. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of Extra Trashy. iDom, words of wisdom. What do you got? Close it out for me. Let him know what's up.
If you guys are struggling with anything in life, just always remember to work harder, be smarter, and sometimes just have hope. I don't know. There was nothing. You kind of threw me on the spot there.
God, I'm so uninspired right now. I think it's over. If you're going through anything in life, man, give up. Give up. It's over. It's already too late. Thanks, iDom. Feeling so inspired now. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up here on that. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace. Hey, you there. Yes, you. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Extra Trashy. At the end of the show here, we'd like to say a very special thank you to our Patreon supporters over at patreon.com/Brian_F. If you're watching on the video feed on YouTube or on Spotify, you'll be seeing their names scrolling by right now. This show, Extra Trashy and Trash Talk, would not be possible without their support, so thank you guys so very much. I'd like to give a very special personal thank you to our landfill members: Flawless Victory, Bryce Scatterfield, Chris Hibiki, Jonathan Ayala, SBO Hasserus, Alex, Smoking Seabass, Chuckle Chuck, and Kelly Lyles. Thank you so much for your continued support and for tuning in to Extra Trashy and Trash Talk. We'll catch you guys in the next episode. Peace.